보시죠. 하늘이 참 좋아요. 오늘은 바람 내음도 향기롭네요. 무슨 좋은 일이라도 생길 것 같아요.
I'm Sam. I'm Dan's favorite
혜준아
sibling.
통역해줘.
You can tell that we are actually related because we sound and look alike. But if you look very carefully, you can tell that I'm just a little bit better looking. You look great.
아 통역해줘.
I know that my role as the best man is to roast Dan and tell you embarrassing stories for the next 5 to 45 minutes. But it's really hard to do that because Dan literally is the best man. He was the best man for all of his groomsmen separately. And the funny thing is, we the groomsmen aren't all in the same friend circle. He was the best in 4 separate social circles. He keeps coming back, winning with different teams like Tom Brady. That's pretty impossible. Although we were brothers, we didn't fight much. And for most of his life, unfortunately, Dan was pretty well behaved, which honestly doesn't help write a entertaining best man speech. But one word I'll use to describe Dan is lies. As a good older brother should, he gave me the advice. Not about dating or girls, of course. Remember, I got married first, have kids, along the way. But who's keeping score? Our dad is. I remember the first advice he ever gave me. I was 4 years old. He told me that the best way to wake up somebody is to pinch their nose and cover their mouth and suffocate them. I remember because he did it on me to wake me up. I think the sense of panic and my need to breathe made me self-aware, and it actually might be my first memory. Grace, if you ever have to wake up early, do that happen. The second word I use to describe Dan is caring. As a doctor, I help people for a living, but Dan might have helped more people than I did, and as a hobby. Bruce reminded me of this, but part of the reason might be is because he doesn't know how to say no. When people ask me for stuff, I start off by saying no. But Dan starts off by pulling up his calendar. Some of the things that he had to do because he didn't know how to say no include running in numerous triathlons. Dan does not work out. Appearing in the MIT Asian Christian Fellowship music video 3 years in a row, taking the LSAT twice, and of course pursuing a PhD. I guess he did say no to Northwestern Law School after getting in. He's regularly helping people move, helping them fix things, going to events, and also listening to hours and hours of other people's relationship problems. Maybe some of you who borrowed or hijacked his ears are here today. You know who you are. Either Dan is the biggest procrastinator in the world, or he prioritizes people and relationships. I know that he'll be there for Grace and his family just as he was there for me. His advice game significantly improved over the years, and the latest and the most memorable one was when I was struggling with faith and I was doing some nonsense that I don't even remember. But I remember what he said in response. He said, "Sam, you can't think like that. Like, you can't think like that." I thought that was a terrible advice. If I just didn't think like that, my problems would go away. But it turns out that mindset is so much more important than I thought while navigating through challenges as a father and as a husband. Now, Dan, people are going to give you a lot of unsolicited advice after you get married, and especially after you have kids. So here's some advice. People say marriage is hard and it's terrible. No. Well, marriage is hard at sometimes, but it's awesome. Well, marriage is terrible for one thing. Marriage is terrible for your body. Apparently, Grace asked Dan to have a six-pack for the honeymoon. Dan, if you don't have one right now, then you have about 3 months before that ship sails forever. Just look at your groomsmen, who are all married. I'm younger than you, and I have grayer hair. Dan, you look exactly as you did in undergrad. And part of the reason is because we are married to loving Asian women who feeds us until we explode. And then they'll feed us more after that. And buddy, you're not in the same boat. I guess what I'm trying to say is look after your health. What a great transition to the bride, Grace. There's so many girls in Boston. So many girls in Boston. But after looking for over 10 years, Dan couldn't find one, a mate, and that is because Grace was not in Boston. By God's grace, Dan met Grace. Actually, my wife and I introduced them to each other, so by God's grace, I asked my wife to ask Grace if she would like to meet Dan, and thank God that she did. I knew Grace as our pastor's favorite in our small church in Minnesota, and I guess having a pastor as a dad gave her a slight advantage in getting that favoritism. In the church praise team, she sings and plays the piano, a dual threat. So it's terrible for the church if she cannot be at Sunday to be part of the praise team, like tomorrow. Not only is she talented musically, but she's incredibly intelligent and driven. After graduating from medical school, she matched at Mayo Clinic for her residency. Are they like the #1 best hospital in the world? I wonder. And this year, she's serving as the chief resident, voted by her peers because of her exemplary character. But we all know that's like a popularity contest. I'm sure she's great, but please refrain from asking her for free medical advice. And I just learned that she is a Harry Potter fanatic. She's the only person I know who has sorted into the House of Hufflepuff and is completely okay with it. That sounds like such a Hufflepuff thing to do. For those of you who don't know Harry Potter, Hufflepuff is the worst one. She has books about Harry Potter that is not the actual Harry Potter books, like analysis kind of stuff. You know, she's that much of a nerd, I guess. And it is by no surprise that she was attracted to a fellow nerd who used to build remote control airplanes and works in aerospace engineering. In all sincerity, you two are one of the best people I know. You guys fit together, you guys look great together, and congratulations on making that commitment to start the next phase of your life together. And I'm super excited to be part of it as a brother and brother-in-law. Thank you.